Come on down. You're the next contestant on Price is Right Wrestling. Legos, a tennis racket, a trash can, a toolbox, and a dirty blonde taking a bump on a bed. It's like a bad hardcore match, meaning a Cinemax After Dark movie. They didn't turn out the lights nearly enough for my fucking liking here. But anyway, I'm John Rant with my review WWE NXT 2.0. Or in the case of that main event, 2.0. If this is what NXT is going to be with the revamp, it needs to be taken out behind the goddamn shed, and you need to Old Yeller it. And that's unfair to Old Yeller, because he was just doing what he could to protect his goddamn family. What's the fucking excuse for this show being so fucking goddamn putrid? They have a bunch of goddamn talent, a bunch of great young talent, and some great veteran talent. A bunch of people that could really make this brand be a great wrestling brand. But no, they want to be cartoonish, they want to be stupid, they want to put out some of the most putrid bullshit. That main event was embarrassing. But I'm going to actually leave those words for when I talk about the main event. But oh boy, sadly, the show leading up to it wasn't all that great. But man, nothing could prepare me for that main event. So anyway, recaps of NXT Heatwave. Here is Rex Steiner. And he's like, where are my dogs at? Great, he's channeling Conan. That's going to be fucking bad. You don't want to channel Conan. Nobody really likes Conan. Conan's given us a lot of reasons not to like Conan. But anyway, he puts over J.D. McDonough. Sorry, I don't really care if I offend anybody at this point. Calls out Tyler Bate. Big dong boy. I mean, that's terrible. Can they really tell that through the pants and everything? I mean, I saw him live, so I would agree. Big strong boy. I just realized that I wrote it down wrong. This is really awkward. But Tyler Bate comes out. Tyler Bate gets put over. He puts over Steiner, puts over NXT UK, which is coming to an end because NXT Europe is coming up at some point in the beginning, or at least the early part of 2023. Maybe, kinda, sorta. They couldn't really draw that many crowds in the UK even before the pandemic hit, except for big events. I think they're going to have problems doing it all over Europe. Whatever, just throw more money down the goddamn drain. What the fuck's it matter? So, a title unification match at Worlds Collide. Yeah, okay, more unification matches. You know what? If NXT UK is ending and they want to start fresh with new championships, this is the way to go about it. And then suddenly we see a video package on Gallus. You know, that trio that's been together for about 5 fucking years, and I can't really name one good thing that they've done. Or maybe it's been 4 years. It could have been 20 years for all I know, but I think it's actually only been about 4 or 5. So, we've never met a fight that we couldn't finish. Nor did they meet a sentence that they couldn't butcher. So, they want Diamond Mine. And they're going to have a match against them next week. Fallon Henley, my goodness, that's what I wrote down. She's still feuding with Lash Legend. Lash is just floating around feuding with everybody. They really don't know what to do with her. She's not the most polished in the ring. She has a great look, and they could do something with her, and they're just having her do random stuff, and then they forget about her for a few weeks, and then they bring her back. So, Brooks and Jensen took, or whatever the fuck their goddamn names are, I don't care. They're the current NXT UK Tag Team Champions, along with Fallon Henley taking on Gallus with Joe Coffey. Which one is it among Gallus that wasn't named in Speaking Out? Genuine question, I'm trying to remember. So, this is for the NXT UK tag titles. This match didn't matter, because most of the matches don't matter. Because it involves people that may be talented, but the gimmicks are stupid. Why did they give Jensen, I think it's Jensen, the goddamn, filthy Tom Lawler knockoff look? I don't get it. So, Lash Legend attacks Fallon Henley. Pretty Deadly Glory come out and attack the champions. No DQ called. They just fight to the back, and a countout happens. Did the referee forget what kind of match they were calling? Probably, because they don't really seem to tell anybody anything, because everybody just goes out there and does shit, and then suddenly, woo! Let's not call DQ this week. Let's just have it be a countout. Let's just ignore all the goddamn rules. This isn't New Japan, guys. You can't just hit people with goddamn cinder blocks and whatever outside. As long as it's outside the ring, it's cool. God. Here's Diamond Mine, by the way. They briefly brawl with Gallus. And we're going to have that match next week. Why is Grayson Waller on my television? God, he is one of the most annoying wrestlers out there. And I know that that's the idea, but I'm not like, oh, annoying, like I want to see him get beat up. I don't want to see Grayson Waller. I mean, I can hear his goddamn shirts, but anyway, nevertheless. So, Chase University, why is this a thing? Why? It's overly comical. It's not good. It doesn't feel genuine at all. Andre Chase's whole shtick was funny for about 2 fucking weeks. And here's Charlie Dempsey, who is Regal's kid. He does look a lot like Regal. And he stretches a couple of the students while everybody does really goofy faces. Oh my God. Because everybody has to act like a goddamn kid. If they are going to associate him with this goddamn thing, fucking goddamn hell. Way to introduce him to a U.S. audience, even though there are about, 5 or 10 people that still watch NXT UK. Way to make him, just mean nothing with this goddamn joke of a gimmick. And I don't mean Charlie Dempsey, I mean Chase University. It's not good. He did say, hey, if you want homework, Google Billy Robinson. Yeah, there you go. Vern Gagne spoke highly of him. Granted, if Vern Gagne was still alive, or if Vern Gagne was here, I'd say, Vern, what the fuck are you doing? You've been dead for about 7.5 years. But he would also probably try to kill Billy Robinson, like he did that other guy in that freaking old folks home. Anyway, yeah, why? Why would you do this? Why would you associate Charlie Dempsey with this? Oh, he's supposed to toughen him up, or he's supposed to do this, and just have him go out and beat up somebody for 5 fucking minutes. That would have been good. The creative minds behind NXT 2.0 hate wrestling fans, I am convinced now. There's nothing wrong with having fun, but at this point, fans like myself and other fans that have been watching for years and years and years, and I'm talking about watching wrestling for years and years and years, it's a divisive goddamn... There are people that love it, and there are people that goddamn hate it. The Grayson Waller effect, because if there's one thing that WWE has needed, it's a fucking talk show. Is Shawn Michaels' lazy eye booking this goddamn show? I think it is. You know what? Brett was right about Shawn Michaels, or whoever's putting this show together. His guest is Apollo Crews. So here's Apollo Crews. The picture-in-picture graphic thing in the corner for no reason. This has to be the only Grayson Waller show. This was terrible. It was like Carlito's Cabana, except Carlito had charisma. Yes, Grayson Waller has athletic hops. He is very good in the ring. It's almost frustrating how good he is. I don't want to see this stupid loudmouth motherfucker on my goddamn television. And Apollo, what did Apollo do to deserve this? And even the visions are mentioned, like Apollo has visions and can see things. And why? Why is it the thing? Why can a wrestler have visions? And a low-budget version of The Miz. Oh, God, that's what Grayson Waller is. Wow. Can you tell I'm just fucking done with this god? There's good stuff on NXT 2.0. I've mentioned I mentioned it from the very beginning to now. But, God, this show is fucking putrid. USA Network needs to just freaking pull it. Just pull it. Put it on reruns of goddamn SVU or NCIS. Get more money out of that. Put reruns of Criminal Intent. Get access to a goddamn cartoon or whatever. Put reruns of freaking Looney Tunes on there. I don't care. Do better. They'll get better feedback than this goddamn shit. Oh boy, more Gallus and Pretty Deadly Glory. It's hard to take this seriously when I don't care. They were showing Tyler Bates' massive package, the Big Dong Boy. Wait. And why is a lobotomized zebra on my television? Yes, I'm referring to Heavy Metal Von Wagner. And Robert Stone's a goddamn joke, which is sad, because he actually used to mean something. Mackenzie Mitchell looked great. That's about all I can note from the interviews. And then Javier Bardem, apparently is a wrestler now. Big Body Javi is what he's calling himself. I don't know who this guy is. Has he been on TV before? Apparently he was on NXT Level Up. That's what somebody told me ago, so he hasn't been on TV. And he took on Cameron Grimes. Joe Wayne Gacy tells him, good luck, Cameron. While Gibson and Drake, or whatever the fuck they're called, are standing there. Cave in for 3, match is fine. This Javier guy isn't bad. I still don't know how he didn't win an Oscar for No Country for Old Men. Or maybe he did. And then Gibson and Drake, God, they're fucking toast. God. There is nothing wrong with trying to change gimmicks. This is fucking... Not that they were ever great as the soon-to-be rectimized tag team champions, But god damn it, just give them the release papers. Who thought this was a good idea? So, we get a pre-tape on Blair Davenport. Okay, she talked about having charisma. I look forward to the day where she actually shows that. Saint Elbows Fire, which I don't even have the passion to sing it, talks about heritage and fire and protecting fire and what I understood about 5% of this. Because she's got that very thick accent, and also it's hard to... I'm sorry, Alba Fire is a dumb name. It's a dumb name. Embracing Your Roots isn't whatever. Indy Hartwell, who's been out there for about 10 minutes by this point, took on Blair Davenport. I wrote down Indy needs to be called up. This was fine. Both can work. Indy's better. Blair likes to drop people on their goddamn heads because she's clueless. And she's not exactly good or smooth in the ring. At her best, she can be carried by the right person. I have never seen it with her. And I've seen some of her stuff in Stardom. I saw some of her stuff on NXT UK. And I don't fucking see it. It looked like she was trying to go for a Falcon Arrow or Brainbuster or something. And nearly dropped Indy on her goddamn head. I don't know what the fuck happened there. But gets it 1, 2, 3. And then hits her with a knee. And then Blair tries to cut a promo. Oh my god, did she try. She wants the NXT Women's Championship because she was supposed to face Meiko Satomura for the UK Championship, but the UK brand is ending. God, about 5 years too late. Okay, let's be fair. The pandemic just finished off what little interest there was. There's been some good matches, some really good matches, and they gave people a platform to ply their trade and do some stuff. The NXT UK brand has not meant anything since it didn't mean much before the pandemic hit. And it really didn't mean anything about a year after that. Anyway, here's Mandy. I wrote down this feud is going to suck. Because if Mandy is going to be the ring general here, even though she has been the one to... She's improved quite a bit and has been a decent champion. Not the best champion, but decent. If she's going to be the ring general, we are fucked. But speaking of ring generals, here's Meiko Satomura. To give you an idea of how long she's been wrestling, she wrestled an episode of Nitro. And I'm not talking like an episode of Nitro in 2000 or 1999. I think it was 97. 96, 97. That's how long she's been wrestling. Nitro, by the way, went off the air in 2001, just to give you an idea. So, Meiko challenges Mandy. Blair wants in on this, so it's going to be a 3-way unification match. For this reason, here's why it's going to be that. Because Blair Davenport is either going to win both championships, and women's wrestling will cease to be good on NXT, or she will be the one to take the pin. Meiko Satomura is not long for WWE. I would be amazed if they were able to call her over and have her make regular shots. I think that she's just about done. But it is what it is. Alright, what in the worldwide fuck did Tiffany do to her hair? Genuine question. Who came up with that and why was she going to Mandy Rose's Tanner? And I'm not talking about Mrs. Tanner. I'm not talking about Tanner Brown. I'm not talking about, some other kind of Tanner. What am I on about? Who knows? Tony was upset with Legado del Fantasma and basically saying, you need to stop. You need to get a victory here. You need to stop being weird. Says the guy that's basically a weird Italian gimmick. So, J.D. McDonough is hanging upside down and saying he's not done with Steiner. You just keep like that, maybe the blood can rush to your giant Easter Island head. Wesley, Katana, and Caden were talking. I don't know why. I don't know why they thought Wesley was going to be good in this, because Wesley is a good talent and has a likable personality, but you put him next to Katana, who has the freaking charisma of a cartoon mouse's shit. And Caden tries, but she tries a little bit too hard. Then, here's Indy. She's still in the ring, by the way. All this has been going on, and she's just out there. And she's talking about she's upset. 4 months ago, she said she was going to stop with the tears. It's hard to believe it's been 4 months since all that bullshit happened. Then here's Dexter, and we get a big pop because everybody loves Index. Everybody clearly loves Index. Everybody, look, it meant something, and I know that people liked it, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong if you liked it, but I prefer my storylines to not be shit. I prefer my storylines to involve less hatchets. Why Dexter had a hatchet in his jacket, though it fit, I don't understand. And they reunite. He carries her off, and Wade, Wade's opinion mimics my own. I am not necessarily hardened when it comes to love, but I don't want to see it on my goddamn television show. Wrestling television show, that is. Everybody can do that, but don't turn it into that bad of a soap opera. And then he carries her away. He hands her a letter, and then he's arrested, because seemingly he has still kidnapped the Miz. And, oh, he doesn't work here, that's why he's kidnapped. Oh, goodbye, Indy, for now. Index forever. There. Happy. That's me. Beacon of fucking happiness. Here's Cora Jade, and she basically says she's better than Roxanne. She knocks all the guys that knocked her and said, you should go on a date, know your body pillows and whatever. And, you know, like, virtual girlfriends don't count. That was good. I think this Cora Jade heel turn might work, even though the way they did it wasn't necessarily the best. But she's embracing it, and I give her credit for that. So, God damn it. Oh. So, Cameron Grimes is above the goddamn ring, literally floating for no goddamn reason. Actually, he's just floating creative. It's full of, you know, as far as a creative standpoint. Legado del Fantasma, Wild, and Cruz, I think it's Cruz, took on whoever Drake and Gibson are now. I don't care because the gimmick is stupid. Joe Wayne Gacy, while a good wrestler and a good talker, and Gibson and Drake are good wrestlers, semi-okay talkers. This whole thing is dumb. It's really dumb. And, God, Jesus. Tony D'Angelo tells them to stop jumping like that. He might as well have thrown out slurs with the way they were having him talk. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Gibson and Drake win because we are not allowed to have good things. And then, what will Grimes do? Hopefully go up to the main roster and work main event. Anything is better than this. And then Javier, or Javi, big body Javi, yells at some woman. I don't know who she is. And then some friggin' security guard that Javi yelled at earlier, Hank Williams, because I guess the devil went down to Georgia. I don't actually know what the fuck the guy's name is. He's a big guy, I'll say that much. Then Legado del Fantasma, the security guard, by the way, said, don't talk to a woman like that. He is correct, don't do that. Legado del Fantasma are outside in the parking lot, and Escobar says, you didn't think I was going to leave you. That was a stupid stipulation. Get in, and let's just hope that none of the fans care. Whatever, they're back together, going to SmackDown, presumably. How good of a magician is Tyler Bate that I wrote down for Tyler Bate versus Heavy Metal's lobotomized zebra, Von Wagner? In what universe does Von Wagner belong on TV? What did Tyler Bate do to deserve this? And Tyler Bate wins with a spiral tap, or spinal tap. It goes up to 11, 1, 2, 3. And then Roderick Strong tries to talk, emphasis on tries, because I think if he tried to say the word talk, we would be here all day. It's going to be the Creeds versus Brooks and Jensen at Worlds Collide. But first, a 6-man tag match. Tiffany makes her entrance in dreads. Why are those dreads a thing? That looks terrible. Stop doing that. And she has a tennis racket. Somebody's a big fan of Jim Cornette. I kid. She's a daddy's girl, a rich girl. Na. And she has that because she has a tennis. She played the tennis. Batted the stuff back and forth or whatever. Some movies like that where, a racket of some variety was used. So next week, it's Cruz versus Waller. Great. I know what I'm skipping. Country Co., a.k.a. Brooks and Jensen and Fallon Henley, taking on Pretty Deadly, Glory, and Lash Legend. And then also Diamond Mine versus Gallus. More 6-person tags. Just throw a popcorn vendor in on one team. Wendy wakes up on a bed set and then rips off, the footy pajamas, and now she's got other pajamas that look like wrestling tights. It's still worse than the Red Rooster. It's worse than Doink the fucking Clown. It's the worst gimmick the WWE has done in a number of fucking years. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? I don't care how good of a wrestler she is. I don't understand why anybody thought this was a good idea. Anybody that thinks that this is any funnier than Orange Cassidy, you're fucking lying to your goddamn selves. Because I don't care who's been doing the gimmick longer. I don't care who does the gimmick better. Both gimmicks are absolute shit. Speaking of absolute shit, Tiffany Stratton versus Wendy Chu, lights out match. If they had turned out the lights and not had any camera lights on or whatever, and they had just fought, and likely fought out of the goddamn arena into a parking lot and maybe into a fucking ditch where alligators could have consumed either them or the creative minds that came up with this, I would have actually been happier with the latter, because these women, let me just say right now, the Tiffany Stratton gimmick is stupid. It's really, really fucking stupid. The Wendy Chu gimmick is one of the all-time worst. There are people that like it. I hate fun. That's what a lot of people will hear if they say they don't like it. Or they could just not like gimmicks that are fucking bullshit. Because I'm not gonna bother, analyzing a fucking lights out match, because I've seen too many lights out matches, like the ones that they tried to do in fucking New Japan when the lights would go out in Cork and Hall because they gotta do it for Evil, because Evil's a goddamn, neutered bitch at this point. But anyway, the AEW's done too many. Speaking of AEW, I would like to apologize to AEW for ever saying that they did lights out matches in the worst way possible. Because they overdid it. They did fucking overdo the goddamn thing. But there were times where there were actually some decent spots there. Sure, they got overly crazy with the weapons, but this is one of the worst things that I have seen in my 37 fucking years of watching wrestling. 37 plus years, by the way. We're about 37 and a half to be exact. War Settled Score was the first event I saw. So actually we're closing in on 3.5, or 37 and a half. It felt like 3.5 years of watching this goddamn wrestling, because this was one of the worst fucking things ever perpetrated on any Major League Wrestling broadcast. Matches at Heroes of Wrestling were less painful to watch than this. The last year of WCW, with Vince fucking Russo booking it, was somehow less painful than this. I think that the only matches I hated more than this were Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho and the Barbed Wire Everywhere match, and Zayn versus Knoxville in that atrocious abortion of a goddamn Mania 38 match. But I don't know, this might actually have embarrassed me more, because you're putting women in the main event and all they're going to do is showcase that while these women might be talented, let's just put them out there, let's let them do a bunch of goddamn stupid shit with a bunch of weapons that everybody has done multiple goddamn times, but let's vary it up and do a few comical things, because ha ha ha. If I was in charge of this goddamn brand, thank God I'm not, because I'm just a wrestling fan, I would have fired the people to put this together. I would have fired the agents. I would have fired the cameraman. I would have fired the wrestler. I would have said, you get the fuck out. I'll get you jobs elsewhere. You're never fucking coming back here. This was a goddamn atrocity. This is where the old Yeller mentality should have been used. Take it out behind the goddamn shed and mercifully end it. Jesus fucking Christ. I know that I'm probably taking it too goddamn seriously, but at this point, if you're going to have a goddamn wrestling program on USA Network, 2 hours of prime time, prime slot wrestling, and this is what you put as your fucking main event, the show before this was not very fucking good. I had a feeling they would close with this, but I'm like, okay, this might be good for a laugh. No, it's not good for a fucking laugh. They break out a trash can and a tennis racket. And if only they had turned that lights out completely. And then maybe, I don't know, freaking just put a goddamn, pool of water out there and put a goddamn toaster in it. Maybe Shawn Michaels could have sat in it and maybe would have fixed his goddamn fucking eye. Maybe we could just fire Shawn Michaels' lazy eye and we could just have his regular eye focus on the goddamn show, because his lazy eye had to have booked this goddamn thing. And no, I'm not going to apologize for any of that goddamn shit, because this is fucking atrocious. Wrestling can have a fun aspect to it, but don't fucking tell me that I'm being too harsh when this match was a fucking train wreck. This feud has been abysmal from the beginning to now, and please let this be the end. Call up one of them, or don't call up any of them. Do something else. A trash can, a tennis racket, a toolbox, fitting, because there were a couple tools in the goddamn ring here. They had used a chair at one point, because of course they fucking did. And there was a body pillow and a bunch of Legos in it. And then Wendy landed on him a few times, and Tiffany landed on him and all this, and they're acting all in pain. Yeah, it hurts to step on a fucking Lego, and if you had more than one working brain cell between you two, you would have been able to figure that fucking out. And maybe if creative had been smart, they would have said, oh, well, we know Legos are hard to step on, but let's actually, I don't know, maybe give this a little bit more juice, a little bit more of a blood feud thing. No, we'll just have them do comical bullshit and do the same goddamn stuff, because why the fuck wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we just make a mockery of wrestling? Because that's what Shawn Michaels and Creative and whoever the fuck's putting this show together has been doing with NXT 2.0. They've been making a mockery of pro wrestling. A lot of this stuff is supposed to be developmental stuff, and it's supposed to be fun. You can have fun in wrestling. You don't shit on wrestling. That's what these women did. That's what this entire match did. There was a bed bump at one point. A dirty blonde taking a back bump on a bed. It is like Cinemax After Dark, for God's sakes. I wrote down at this point, I fucking quit. I will never watch anything full length with Wendy Chu or Tiffany Stratton again. And if the creative minds or whoever put this together ever reveal themselves, then remember that part in Full Metal Jacket when they took, all the stuff and beat them? Yeah, do that. This was embarrassing. If you liked it, fine. More fucking power to you. This was fucking atrocious. And then we cut back as if we hadn't already killed off interest and killed off what little bit of wrestling interest there was in NXT 2.0. Let's go back and do quick contract signings between Mandy, Mako, and Blair, and Tyler and Steiner. God, this was embarrassing. God, this was an embarrassing show. Can they actually try to put together a good show? Black and Gold, at its best, did get overdone, and it did get to where the matches are a little bit too long, and they maybe should have added a little bit of entertainment. And now it's just gotten to the point where NXT 2.0 is probably the worst mainstream wrestling television show on, it. To me, it's worse than Rampage because it's twice as long. I swear if I didn't enjoy a few aspects of it, I probably would just give up on reviewing it. I mean, I've already given up on caring about the show outside of just basically venting for way longer than I expected. Congratulations, Wendy. Congratulations, Tiffany, on having one of the worst fucking matches that WWE has put on in many fucking years. Way to stunt their goddamn growth. Wendy's fucking dead. You could take the pajamas off. You could give her a whole nother gimmick. And there are people that have already written her off because you're a Red Rooster. And Tiffany, her gimmick's pretty much a goddamn albatross as well. But anyway, speaking of albatrosses, hey, we here at Price is Right Wrestling, we'd like to remind you to control the pet population. If you don't want any more albatrosses, spay or neuter them. And also, make sure to shred your fucking notes. And if you're creative behind this show, maybe you should be spayed or fucking neutered. And if you have children, maybe spay and neuter your children so we don't have to fucking worry about any more of you motherfuckers being reproduced. Goodbye, everybody.